Over controversies trailing his proposed rallies for a shadow government in Nigeria. The professor expressed his frustration with the authorities in an interview on Wednesday, saying he may consider leaving the country over efforts to suppress his voice. Also speaking in a phone conversation with News Central, the academic challenged young Nigerians to not sit and watch their future taken away from them. He noted that he should not be left alone in the struggle for a better Nigeria because evil prospers when good men fail to act. According to him, there is nothing more for him to lose, but there is so much for the younger generation to gain. The Department of State Services, DSS, had on Wednesday filed a fresh application at the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking to restrain the former presidential candidate from making public statements or organizing rallies relating to his proposed shadow government. Let's have a conversation on this. We're joined now by the Director General at Deepened Nigeria, Ibrahim Abdulkarim. Also joining us is a legal practitioner, Liboros Shoma, to share their thoughts on this development. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for giving us your time. I'll start with you, Liboros, and just ask much ado about shadow government. Is holding rallies and making press statements against the principles of a shadow government? What is shadow government really?
Yeah, I want to look at this from two perspectives. One, if you look at it from the perspective of an NGO, then you would say that it's really, there's much ado about nothing. Because when you say a shadow government, the presupposition is that you are, just going to monitor the activities of the government and consistently, state how it can be done better, what the government is doing and what they are not doing well. On the surface level, fantastic. Nothing much. But if you look at the name, shadow government, and then you look at the Company and Allied Matters Act, for example, there are some names that are not registrable because the name will give the impression that it has the government imprimatur, that it has the government support. And the word shadow government is coined from opposition government in parliamentary system of government, where the opposition forms a shadow cabinet. You can't form a shadow government when you are not, in the opposition, or you have not contested a political party, contested an election. So if you look at it from that perspective, you would say that the name in itself is misleading, and that if it's about the name, then the name can be changed because really it is misleading, considering also the volatility of the political environment where you have agitation. Somebody can come up tomorrow and say he's forming an interim government. He says an NGO, an interim government. So for me, I think that name is misleading. The name can be changed, but the activities to monitor the activities of the government, if the objective is to monitor the activities of the government and state how it can be done better, what is in a name? Whether you call it shadow government, that the government says is misleading, or you call it another name, you will still achieve the same aim. But I think that
but the more you explain this, the more I worry that we live allegedly in a civilized environment, educated environment, and most people understand what a shadow government is. So this seeming chase, some might wonder, might have other connotation aside from the the political aspect you explained it from. Let's come to you, Ibrahim, and just ask about the Big Tent coalition, because we understand that the shadow government is a birth of the Big Tent coalition.
Yes, it's from the government, it's from a Big Tent coalition. What we intend to do is that we invited people from the opposition party, we invited civil society organization and NGOs. And as Ms. Pat Utomi always said, it's an open. They just want to change the nomenclature or address us as he just announced a shadow cabinet in Big Tent coalition. What we intend to do is just to put an eye, because we have seen, because the first thing that came out is that we are going to do a 7.2 million people march to Abuja. And people are saying, to get what? We said we will need to get people to understand that the people that is sent to the National Assembly are not representing them. From what we have seen, they have just turned themselves like what they call the rubber stamp. And what we understand, the issues in the country is that nobody is talking about the system that is rotten, that is falling on top of all of us. So the idea came from the prof is that why not organize ourselves, give ourselves a name so that we can go out and pick all these ministries, more especially at this crucial time when this budget has been signed, and you can see all what is being written on those particular what they call it, the information we are seeing from the budget itself and the planning that we have seen. Where are the people that are supposed to create that enabling environment where all the other political parties are in one dispute or another, and people are just moving from one party to another, despite the fact that we already have a law that if you leave your seat, because it is the party that has been voted for, not individuals. Because when you are voting for a governor, you are not seeing any name there. You see a party. So, but people are doing anyhow. Then Prof now put up a system. Okay, how do we now explain this to people? Okay, we organize ourselves and call ourselves shadow cabinet. Has nothing to do with shadow government. Nobody is going to take away the function of government. We don't have money to run government. What we just need to do is that help. Talk to the government and talk to Nigerians. Link the two together. Show people that this is what government is doing right. This is what government is doing wrong. And this is how we want it to look like. I think any government will welcome this. If they are not so happy with this, sit down. I think he explained not once, not twice. If you call him to DSS office, if you call him as a government, he keep explaining. We are not here to take over anything or cause confusion or cause riot. What we intend to do, we have election again in 2027. What is just between the masses and the election is the awareness, so that they know how government's supposed to run.
Ibrahim, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you and talk about, again, the same argument that's been put forward by the DSS. But I wanted to ask Liberus about the concerns about that the Prof has raised, that the government, in trying to stop him from speaking, is also infringing on his rights. Is he breaking any laws? And do you think perhaps the amount of pressure being mounted is not commensurate to the good intention that the professor is putting on the table?
Look, let's not, you see, no matter the intention, let's look at these things holistically. No matter the intentions, there are some names. I can't, for example, I want to run a business.
No, away from the names. Sorry to interject. Away from the names. What the DSS is requesting is to stop him from making comments, holding rallies, talking about shadow government. I mean, what we understand shadow government to be, the definition is not exactly what is being held by the DSS.
Look, let me tell you, look, you can have good intention. You can have good intention, and then if the foundation is faulty, you create problems for yourself. Look, you have some persons in the Southeast who are agitating for referendum, agitating for secession, and the rest. And then you have a noble idea like this idea of ensuring that you create awareness and then ensure that people know what the National Assembly is for, and then what the National Assembly should do for the people as elections are approaching. And then you give it a name that is forbidden by the books. You give it a name that is not registrable. For me, what that presupposes is that you really are not ready to push that agenda. If you really are ready to push that agenda, that's why I keep coming back to the name. The name will give you, give your, let me use the government word, detractors, the opportunity to come at you. Look for another name that you can call it. You want to register a business, I will go back to that. You want to register a business, there are some names that you submit and they tell you the name is not registrable. You abandon that name and pick another name.
Okay, let me jump on that.
Shadow government sorry, quickly, sorry. At the end of the day, it's the objective that matters. If the government says the name is forbidden because it gives the impression that some other persons will want to latch onto, it might not even be you. I can come up tomorrow and say, Pat Utomi was allowed to use the word shadow government. I want to use interim government. So what do we do? So what I will do if I were in that position, I go on with my rally, I look for budgets. Budget is doing the same thing, calling government to account, but the name is not forbidden. But at the end of the day, it is objective that matters.
All right, let's move a little more on the name. Ibrahim, okay, let's move a little more on the name. Ibrahim, I wonder, the DSS referenced a recent comment by Professor Pat Utomi saying that if they succeed with the suit in court, that the group might change the name to something else. Is that a possibility that can be considered to allow the purpose for which, because I mean, the name seems to be overshadowing every good intention that the idea was bettered from?
As a name for the DSS case at the court. What happened is that they give the name to the media and they ask the media to call us shadow government. In all our meetings, in all our proceedings, we have never mentioned shadow government. What we said is shadow cabinet, big tent shadow cabinet. Just create one person to a ministry so that he will assist us to get information, to know exactly what to do. When we come for a meeting, that person represents that organization and make a case for what he has seen the government is doing wrong and what the government is doing right. And we take it in and we make a press release. If we want to have a rally, we have a rally just to inform and actually talk to people. We have nothing to do with the name. The name is given to us by the media, by the government itself, just to give a dog a bad name. That's the intention. It's not our intention. And we have already talked about this thing. Name is not the problem. We will put up, if we test this.
Okay, so why is it taking so long then? If the government, Ibrahim, if the government is so against your choice, Ibrahim, sorry to interject, but if the government is so against your choice of words, and it seems to be distracting from the intent to, you know, put government on their toes, is it too much of a big deal to choose another name with the same intent and carry out your purpose?
I'm saying we don't call ourselves that name.
Shadow cabinet. If you say it's still shadow cabinet, I'm just asking, is it not something you could consider?
And an in-house working. Our name is Big Ten Coalition. Simple. They give us the name. So when we finish in the court, what we will do after the court, whatever, then we sit down and showcase who we are and what we are trying to say and the name. If the name is their problem, we set out that name aside and put up another name and still continue to give Nigerians what they deserve.
All right, Ibrahim, we're curious, how did you come about the name Big Tent?
Big tent is a tent, as you say, tent, like an umbrella, not umbrella, a tent where people can come and hide themselves, or sit down, or talk, or have a shed that will protect them from something. And that's where we get the name the Big Tent. And it's not today. It has been in existence for almost more than 5 years.
All right, let's talk about
coordinators.
Let's talk about the public response to Pat Utomi's efforts. I mean, he's already expressing frustration as to how the DSS is going about, you know, putting him under pressure and infringing on his rights to free speech. Do you think Nigerians should be speaking on these issues when you look at, you know, the concerns that everybody has, and Pat Utomi is just saying, I'm just one man trying to speak up on issues that needs to be addressed?
Sorry, Felicity, we speak up every day. Pat Utomi has been speaking up, a lot of us has been speaking up, and like I said, like the question you asked, the DSS has gone to court asking for a restraining order on that name. I don't think there is need wasting time. If you know that you didn't give yourself that name, the simple thing to do is, in your response to court, is to say, this is not our name. We didn't give ourselves that name. We don't bear that name. We are Big Ten, and that's not our name. So you can restrain us from using the name. We really don't mind, so that we can focus on the issues and the things we want to do. So you leave out all of it, because now the name is taking over the objective that is to be achieved. And the Big Ten has been speaking out. Like I said, Budget is speaking out. Sisla is speaking out. CASA is speaking out. There are so many NGOs that are speaking out. But if we keep dragging on the name and the government says this name is not registrable, it's not allowed, and you insist that, oh, let the court decide whether we can use the name, it will slow you down, it will bog you down.
I'm really sorry to interject again. We're time constrained. I just have one more question for Ibrahim. It has to do with the name, the dates for the proposed rally. June 6th, that's what the DSS is saying, or June 12th, I'm not sure now. But Utomi said he is baffled about this and that rallies were scheduled for December. My question is not actually about the dates, but considering all that is going on, do you think that that rally would still hold? And if it will it still be on the premise that you are a shadow cabinet, or you're going to choose another name?
I'm very sorry to say we are just having a conversation with a bunch of people that are just busybody. For example, they just want to do something to please the leader or to please the government. They are not actually doing their work. They're supposed to look at exactly what we want to achieve. We didn't put up any date for the rally. We have not put up anything. They just pick speculation. They are not even sure what he wants to do, but they just jump into conclusion. Please, they should allow us to come and announce what we want to do, how we want to do it, what are the measures we have taken. Then if they see us going contrary to what government is, we are going to create chaos or any anarchy into the land, then they call us to order. But now they are not listening to us. They are not watching what we are doing. They just want to please the man on top to show that they are working. And background, they are not doing anything.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there, Ibrahim. I do get the strong sense that your group feels strongly misunderstood. I'm hoping that conversations like this will clear things up, and hopefully we'll continue to do what we need to do to get government to be more intentional. Thank you very much, Liboros and Ibrahim, for sharing your time with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.